Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're doing a replay analysis of one of your games. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Megam Ishun, hopefully I'm saying that right, and he said, I played Axe in this game and went 0-7, 19 minutes into the game. I didn't know what to do in the early laning phase. It was a hard lane against Monkey King. It is a hard lane. Monkey King Axe is definitely difficult, but I would say there are some play arounds. This battle hunger is pretty good in the early levels, and you can eventually cut waves. It's a little hard to cut waves against Monkey King because he can chase you with tree dance, but nonetheless, let's take a look. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. In terms of starting items, I'm actually pretty fine with the items he's got here. And by the way, this is a Crusader match, right? So Crusader, pretty average, standard player, and let's see what he could do to get to the next level. All right, so one of the main things I think about when I'm playing Axe is basically using Battle Hunger in a way that's useful, right? I don't want to Battle Hunger someone that's about to last hit, so typically I'm only going to Battle Hunger the carry if I'm doing it immediately, and I think I'm going to be able to pressure them off the first CS, right? If my Snapfire can nuke him and I can hit him, maybe we can bully him off the first CS. So like hungering him right here is okay. Could have done it a little bit faster, but that's fine, right idea. Now the only thing I don't like is you immediately pull aggro, which is okay typically, but the reason why I don't love it is if he gets this deny here, which he does, it's a disaster. To be fair, Snapfire probably should have nuked the range creep, but yeah, that's why I don't love using Battle Hunger on the carry like that, where you don't do it almost even before the wave meets, right? It's not terrible by any means, right? Let's not hyperfixate on that, but yeah, not the best to then pull creep aggro and take a defensive stance when you've used Battle Hunger aggressively, right? Battle Hunger again, yeah, this one, it's okay. He doesn't have any creeps low, so it will do some damage. It's not bad. He has no stick either. That's not terrible. So in this next clip, Gizmo is actually gonna get a kill here, and this is pretty good execution. All things considered, it's solid. The only thing I'd say is that you should trust or communicate to your Snapfire that he should secure the range creeps. And most of the time as Axe in the majority of lanes, you just want to pull creep aggro onto your range creep, tell your support to secure the range creep, and then deny the range creep that you've pulled aggro onto. That's a very easy way to play the lane that's gonna serve you pretty well in almost every single matchup, right? There's exceptions to everything, but that's pretty solid. He ends up getting the range creep himself, which isn't too bad, and does get the range creep deny, and realizes that Monkey King is getting way too aggressive here. And with a wonderful blood grenade from the Snapfire, they actually get the kills. So pretty good, right? Honestly solid. All right, and immediately the lane kind of goes the wrong way. And honestly, this is kind of why to some extent I almost wish they didn't kill the Monkey King. It almost is unnecessary, right? When the guy's so low, it's almost the case where if he doesn't have a salve, I guess he has Warlock, so it's probably better to finish him off because he's gonna get healed. But yeah, this clip is just a misplay, right? There's nothing else to say besides Monkey King is not a hero that you man up to his Axe from full HP. How this matchup works is you want to chip him, maybe do 20% of his health, 10%, 15% of his health. You want to use like Scatter Blast plus Battle Hunger and a couple autos and then back off, right? Try to chip the guy, back off, and then do it again later. This is not the time to go, right? Why? Your Snapfire is super low, right? He just frankly dies in kind of a silly way, and then you all in. You're fine, right? The lane's completely fine. There's no reason to man up. I mean, there's a big wave on you, so maybe you just assume you can win this trade. Honestly, great usage of the upheaval from Warlock. And then only thing I'd say here is if you wanted to win this trade, because realistically there's a slight chance you could turn this around. Monkey King is actually pretty bad at level 2. He already used Boundless Strike. He's not that strong. The main thing you need to do is not go back into the upheaval here. This ability is quite devastating, and in fact it does 35 damage per second when it's been channeling for a significant period of time, right? It's very, very scary as a spell if you stand in it. So this is a pretty big misplay because now he's going to be able to sort of kite you. You take a lot of damage from the upheaval, and maybe if you pulled creep aggro, so this is getting really technical, but this is like what 10Ks would do. They would pull creep aggro here, so they'd right click on the Monkey King so that these creeps would run over and they could trade away from the upheaval, right? You can't see it right now, it's bugged, but yeah, you would pull creep aggro, right? So specifically right here, when you know he's going to turn back to chase you, you pull aggro so the creeps come and hit you, and you can avoid the upheaval and still have the effect of the creep. So misplayed there. Maybe it would have made the difference, maybe it wouldn't have, but it's definitely quite the disaster. Also on top of that, he buys this Ring of Health at the secret shop. It ends up not being a big deal here, but it's a terrible habit to get into. This is going to cause you to miss 3, 4, 5 CS in some cases. It's really, really bad. And so the main criticism I have is kind of just overplaying there and then missing CS. I always stress this, but guys, you want to try to have as many CS as possible. At minute 3, I typically aim for 11 to 12. And then this is just, there's nothing else to say besides this is game losing. I hate to be that blunt, but you cannot at level 2 try to farm a neutral camp. Side pulling is so good here. And I think he does. Side pulling is so good, right? But why try to farm it? Oh no, he doesn't even side pull. He missed most of the creeps. It's a great time to side pull, right? And the reason why is at this point, you don't want to play the lane. The goal as Axe at this point is to get your Vanguard and avoid the Monkey King, right? And it's actually quite doable. If you have a side pull open, all you gotta do is side pull. And for the most part, you'll be okay. If the enemy doesn't block it, you can just kind of side pull and then have it respawn a mid later, side pull, and you'll do all right. Like genuinely, you'll do okay. And he pulls good creep aggro here, which is nice. I wouldn't push in the lane though. Like, so this doesn't make sense. It's a hard lane. And this is kind of what Gizmo talked about, right? So you know it's a hard lane. And if you know it's a hard lane, keep it back. The goal is to keep it back. This is how you guys need to think. You're trying to get to the next level and it's a hard lane. Keep it back. Don't spin out the entire wave, because now the next creep wave, you're gonna have to play under their tier 1 tower. That's terrible, right? So yes, you get all the last hits guaranteed. Well, except for one, but it's definitely net negative. And then I guess you're gonna try to jungle this, which is it's just not a good idea, right? It's just not efficient. And now, once again, you should have side pulled. So it's actually very simple. And this is why these games are very winnable. And this is why even in hard matchups, the games are, honestly, if you know what you're doing, easy at this level, because you're given freebies. You're given freebies at every level, but you're given like freebies, right? You just have a side pull constantly. If this is high MMR, you never have this. Okay, that's not true. You rarely have this, right? A stacked side pull at minute 3, very, very uncommon. This is a blessing, right? And that's how you gotta see it, right? It's a blessing. So he's gonna spin out the wave again, right? At this point, it kind of just, yeah, I wouldn't skill call, because you're not gonna really be able to use this. I would just skill spin and just try to keep the lane back and chill. Maybe the call is kind of okay, because it can make people waste Dringo, but like, does this work? Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know about this. It's Monkey King. Yeah. And so essentially, you could basically have Vanguard. If you played this lane optimally and you kept the lane back, you could just about have Vanguard here. And that's why like Dota is such a beautiful game. If he didn't miss as many last hits as he did, he kept the lane back, avoided some of the unnecessary damage from this large camp, avoided the first death where, you know, he should have just backed off. There's no real reason to play up. He was level 2 and Snapfire was low. Then the game's winnable. And that's what it's about, right? It's putting all these things together. And then here, gotta pull creep aggro. Yeah, I would pull aggro again. Wow, gets the range deny. Chad. That's a Chad play. But okay, let's keep going. Let's move on into the mid game. I definitely think, hopefully you guys have taken a lot of things out of this. So at this point, yeah, it's tough. Realistically, at level 4, I'm probably considering jungling if I'm this far behind. You don't want to have to do that. If you have Vanguard, you can just start cutting the waves. Like, once you have Vanguard, even against Monkey King a lot of the time, as long as you haven't fed him, which in this case is the case, if you haven't fed him, you can just start cutting the wave when you have Vanguard, which you should have at minute like 5 in most games, right? You want to aim for a minute 5 and 5.5 Vanguard, sometimes earlier if you get a kill. But yeah, okay, lane pushes in here. Monkey King kind of just feeds the lane, which is nice. Monkey King shouldn't be doing that, but he is. And that's why he's Crusader, because the Monkey King, right, should be keeping the lane back. The goal is to prevent the enemy from getting last hits. You don't want to let them get XP and snowball their game. So this is not bad. Could have stacked that camp. Oh, caught the Warlock. Not going to kill him, though. I wouldn't chase him. This is a waste of time. Yeah, nah. Okay. And just for a little bit of perspective, guys, if you're going to plan on playing Axe after this video and you happen to be counterpicked by a Monkey King, you'll notice even in this clip here, the reason why it's not that bad is, like, if you watch, I mean, Monkey King's first hit does literally 0. And then from here, he gets gone on. Waste call, to be fair, which is certainly not good. And then gets gone on by it. This is an overfarmed Monkey King, right? This is a Monkey King who's 1,000 gold up and has way more items than he should. And yet it still isn't that bad, right? And without the Dawnbreaker ulti, he isn't going to die, right? This is with an Upheaval slow and a Dawn ulti, so yes, he dies. But for the most part, this matchup isn't actually that bad. If you know that you're this far behind, what you need to do is just strictly jungle, right? Like, all you do is jungle, and then if they push the wave into your tower, you farm it. Right, I would literally try to take Ancients. As long as I'm level 5, you could take Ancients. It's slow, but just ship a salve and take Ancients, right? You'll get plenty of XP, and then watch the minimap. And if they push in the creep wave into your tower, go back, take the creep wave under your tower, go back to Ancients, rinse, repeat, and you'll do fine. You'll have an okay game. But yeah, going back to the jungle, that's fine. He honestly could just full-time jungle, right? As you see him taking Ancients here, that's fine. Seeds of Serenity, love that. That's gonna help him take Ancients. But yeah, once again, oh, maybe there's a kill here. Nah, probably not anymore. Damn. Yeah, I guess the cookie was just off. It's probably a kill, honestly. Probably a kill. You gotta stop. When you're getting cookied, you gotta stop. Because otherwise you can run past them. Good juke from the Monkey King, but yeah. Damn. But yeah, just to reiterate, basically what he could do at this point is just strictly jungle. Like, people think you can't do that or it's terrible. It is on some heroes. If you're playing Centaur Warrunner and you go to the jungle, yeah, you're probably griefing. You're probably griefing if you're playing Centaur and you're just in your jungle. But if you're Axe and you're against some Ursa or Monkey King and you're just feeding every time you show up, just don't go to the lane at some point, right? It's just not worth it. And he's kind of doing, I will admit, I'm impressed to some extent with Gizmo's gameplay because he's doing a good job of sort of what I said. It's not optimal, right? And he is occasionally feeding, but he's pretty good about like taking these neutrals and then going back to the lane. Like, this is good. I like that he doesn't TP to this top fight. He doesn't have Blink Dagger. There's no reason to force it, right? He's going to cut the wave here. This is great, right? This is really, really nice. This is exactly what I would do. Cuts the next wave. This is good, right? Because I don't even mind him TPing here. I mean, it ends up being the wrong decision, but it's kind of like, it's good awareness. Maybe he could have TP'd a little bit faster, right? Perhaps before the troll was getting low, he probably could have TP'd, but I mean, at the end of the day, probably shouldn't have TP'd, but I'm glad he farmed his Blink, because on Axe, you need Blink to have impact. Like, it's very hard to do anything on this hero without Blink. Once you get Blink, it's a completely different hero. So now, honestly, I would just kind of keep farming till I have Blade Mail. I would only smoke if I have, like, Snap Ulti, which you do. So I would either Snap Ulti, smoke with a Snap, or I would farm. I don't really want to run around and try to solo kill anyone, because, like, this isn't going to do anything unless Snap is ready. And this is the problem, right? It's a very Crusader move. I'm just being honest, because it's about knowing your damage. Axe can't kill anyone alone. Unless he has Blade Mail or you catch a low HP hero in a creep wave, you're never killing anyone. So you gotta go with your nukes, right? You got to go with your nukes. And it's the Snapfire here. Rubik's okay too, Pango's fine as well. But I would smoke with Snap, or I would just run around with Snap, because realistically this play works if you have that. It might even work anyway. No, you're out of mana. That's rough. The EMP is gonna hurt here. Oof. Yeah, you're dead. Ah, oh. Okay, now Storm's dead. But at this point, especially like here, I definitely would just go jungle. Like, I don't want to TP in and feed here, because they're not really that low. So as you can see, they're chasing. It's kind of reasonable to TP, but yeah, they're not low, and this Monkey King's way too farmed. So I would just focus on getting my Blade Mail so that I can kill the Storm or kill the Monkey King in fights. I definitely feel like Axe is a pretty bad hero until he gets Blade Mail. And so how I see Axe is, when I get my Blink, let's say I rush Blink, right? Like he does. It's fine, but I'm going to try to get a sneaky kill, or I'm going to catch them because they don't know about it. And then once they know about my Blink, I'm going to usually slow down the pace of the game and get my Blade Mail. So I'm going to get my first Blink reveal kill, and then I'm going to work towards Blade Mail, right? I'm going to kill Ancients. Because this hero, as long as your carry isn't taking it, farms Ancients and gets huge. Like, Axe is incredibly good at just getting huge by farming Ancients. This hero is a flash farmer. That is how I see it. Because like you'll see in this clip here, I mean, it's just not the right idea to be Blink calling a Monkey King with no Blade Mail 3 levels behind. And so people just don't kind of get this concept. They think, oh, I'm playing the offlaner, I gotta make moves, I gotta kill people. If you're this far behind and you're playing a hero like Legion or Axe that relies on this Blade Mail to do anything, then you just shouldn't do anything, right? Yes, if you, let's say you catch someone alone with Snap Ulti and Rubik Nuke, fine. I don't really know exactly what happened here. This is kind of just a poorly executed gank. Snap gets gone on. They TP in. Yeah, I mean, good play from the enemy. They were fast about that. So sort of just a good play from the enemy. But as I'm saying, like, just tough, right? With the Blade Mail, you have a chance, and that's really what I would play for. All right, let's take a quick look at some mid-game team fights. So this team fight, I have some criticisms on positioning. So when you're playing against Warlock or just any general AoE damage, which is going to be the case most games, you want to try to stay out of vision so you don't get hit by random nukes. You want to try to stay off to the side and then wait for a call. Like, I don't want to call Warlock. I would really try not to. Unless I have BKB, maybe I can kite out. But what I would do is I'd stay in the tree line. I don't want to be in vision. I don't want to get hit by Fatal Bonds. I don't want to get hit by Rock. Like, thankfully, the Fatal Bonds is on cooldown. Because realistically, this is a big throw from Gizmo if he gets Fatal Bonds. Because then you just can never blink. And then your hero's useless. And so I really try to stay off to the side and avoid, like, the crap. Essentially, the bombardment of the middle. This is a good call, right? He ends up finding a great call. A little slow on the Blade Mail, unfortunately. I don't know why Storm turned around. That was so... Why did Storm turn around? Oh, maybe it's because he got glimmered and he went invis? I don't actually know. That was very bizarre. But great call, great dunk. I would kite out now, wait for the blink. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily run straight up to this guy. I would just kind of like... I would linger around the area, just wait for my blink, right? I know it's 7 seconds, but still, that's what I do. There's no reason to run straight up to this guy, unless you think he truly has nothing, which, you know, to be fair, he almost got the call off. Maybe there's no dust. YOLO call. Oh! Yeah, it's fine. That was good. That was pretty good overall. Solid fight. No Monkey King, though, but still, solid fight. So at this point of the game, with the fight ending and Troll backing off, well, I guess Troll actually has all of his spells up, so you could look to make a play, but... This guy is not the guy you want to go on. Wow, this guy is Octarine Midas Dawnbreaker? That's crazy. That's such a disgusting item build, though. Oh my god. But yeah, this is not really the guy you want to go on. He's just super tanky and doesn't die to Blade Mail because he doesn't have right-click damage, especially not with Midas Octarine. But yeah, this is just, it's kind of a general misplay. You're showing too much, right? Because, like, As Axe, you don't want to show a lot for kind of what I mentioned before. It makes it very hard to call. You're going to get hit by random spells, and people are going to see it coming. So yeah, I mean, you battle hunger the guy for no reason, then you're kind of just like running down the lane for no reason. All I would be doing here is farming. Like, fight ends, I'm immediately going back to farming. I'm either TPing mid and pushing out the wave if no one does that. Maybe I'll go take Ancients if my carry isn't going to do that. I'll go farm the camps to the right, but I'm not going to go like battle hunger some Dawn and even stay remotely close to where the enemy team could be, you know what I mean? It's just high risk, no reward, you know? Go hit a neutral camp and wait. Oh, Troll's popping off. Yeah, I would just go hit a neutral camp and then kind of wait for things to happen. All right, next fight, this is actually pretty impressive, I'm not gonna lie. The execution here in terms of item usage is really damn good, so I want to show this off to you guys. Give Gizmo a bit of praise, because I've given him quite criticism. The only thing I don't love is this call. It's not that it's a bad call, it's a reasonable call. On paper, but the execution, the problem is the follow-up's not here, right? I would just be pinging. Basically, if I'm playing an initiator, I'm constantly pinging where I want to go, or I'm telling my team I want to kill them here. Usually I'll use pings. I feel like people tend to know what that means. Just go, you know? And so I would be pinging because this is a kill, right? It's definitely a kill if Rubik's in position or like Snap is in position, but they're not, right? And now you get counter-initiated on. What he does really well, though, is remembering he has an Ogre Seal, which is actually huge, because, and it's such a good item on Axe, by the way, allowing you to kite out and wait for that next blink. But yeah, good Ogre Seal, good wand usage, but unfortunately that initial jump isn't great. It kind of debates his team to overextend a little bit. His Troll kind of commits on a Storm kill that he can't get. So as the initiator, just have patience, and when you're initiating, you gotta make sure you have the follow-up. It's kind of been a problem for him this game. He's had a couple good calls, but then I would say half the calls have been good, half have been like no follow-up. We had the one on the Invoker in the jungle that needed to be followed up by Snap, and now we have this one. Okay, good dunk. Oh, this might be a kill too. Wand call, nice. Nice. All right, and to end off the video, this team fight straight up crazy. This is crazy. Like, I actually laughed while watching. All right, so they're taking Roche, and I think he wanted to protect Roche, so he gets out of the pit a bit. Jukes it. Once again, try not to run down the middle too much, but it's fine. Gets the call. Probably should have popped Blade Mail, you know, at the end of the... I guess it's okay for him to hold it because it doesn't do too much to an Atos support Invoker, but it's fine. What's crazy is he doesn't BKB, just chads up, just banks on the fact that they aren't going to stun him, like Storm's not going to stun him, this guy's not going to stun him, this guy... Just chads up, runs forward, doesn't ogre seal, battle hungers the support, proceeds to walk, BKB, walk back in and hit a 3. Oh, it almost hit Storm. How did that not hit Storm? Hit a 2-man call and kill off the enemy carry in offlane. Like, what did I just watch? That's some, I don't know, that's some Crusader stuff right there. I can't even fathom how that was good. But apparently that was the greatest play of all time. I need to learn things from Gizmo. That's all I have to say. My hands are in the air. I don't know. I can't even say he needs to coach me because that was incredible. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you want your game analyzed, well, I'm going to be doing one more from the comments from the first video, but comment down below if you want your game analyzed. All you got to do is put your match ID, say the hero you played, and then anything you want me to look at. I appreciate it if you give me things to look at or things that you were unsure about. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Gizmo, for submitting the replay. And yes, he actually does go on to win this game if you're curious. They clutch up and they win in a, I believe, a 40-minute match. So yeah, good comeback as they were 6K net worth behind. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.